Okay, okay. We promised that we would go to the phone line this morning at 8 a.m. It's after 8. Just a minute or so after 8 in Jamaica. Yeah, after 9 from our friends over there in the land of Canada and the United States. And guess what? It's after 2 p.m. in the streets of London. We go to the phone lines. We promised we'll be talking with Victory Osong, mental health advocate. Just want to get our on the lines here. Just give us a few moments, please. Yeah, it's still Child's Month. We are actually getting to the end of Child's Month, and we hope that the focus on our children remains. They are very important to society and to the future of our country. Even us as elderlies, when we get
Hello, good morning.
when we good morning, when we get up to age, and we depend on our children to take care of us. So we have to make sure that they are in good health. On the line this morning, as I mentioned, is Miss um, Victory Osong. Is it Miss or Mistress? Please forgive me on that.
The whole song is Miss, but I am actually a Mrs.
Oh, she's actually a mistress. I hope our listeners are hearing loud and clear.
The whole song is Miss. The whole song is my birth name.
Okay, good to have you, Miss Osong, mistress. um, she's from the parish of St. Catherine and presently living in Ocherus, I was told.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right. So, could you tell us first, before we get into the discussion, how did you get involved in being a mental health advocate?
Okay, so I was always a humanitarian, right? Just a humanitarian who cared a lot about people and how they felt, especially children. And so I got involved a lot with youths in community meetings, and I would coordinate community meetings and stuff, anything for the children, for the youths. And so I started visiting the children's home, many children's home. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Yes, I started visiting many children's homes. But when I started visiting the homes, I used to visit them to bring them items like clothing and shoes and, food and snacks and gifts. Like there was one Christmas when I just wanted to put 100 smiles on 100 kids' faces. And so I would just bring them Christmas presents. However, by entering the homes and connecting with the children, I realized that 90 odd percent of them were all abused, either physically or sexually. And out of that 95%, I would say at least 80% were sexually abused. And so I realized that these children were not getting any counseling, because I assumed that because they were in a home, they would be getting counseling. And what triggered me was when I saw little children, really little children, and even little boys who were raped by adult men, some of which were family. And that is what propelled me to become a mental health advocate, because I realized that I needed to attend to their mental and emotional health more than bringing them items.
Okay. Wow. Little boys, girls, and boys, and remind us of the age limit, please. The age range of children you're talking about
Could
here.
you repeat that, please?
Can you remind us of the age range of the little ones that you're talking about now?
Okay, well, the ages of the children ranged from the ones I experienced, they ranged from like 4 years old up until 18. Because when they're 18 years old, they had to leave the home. And then that affected me even more, because I realized that a lot of these children, they came from abusive homes and environment, And when they reach 18, they have to leave the children's home. And then majority of the time, all the time, they have nowhere else to go but back to the home from which they were abused and molested or in the streets. So it was from age 4 to 18, which they had to leave the home at 18.
Wow. And well, this sounds serious though. From four, being molested, being
Yes.
raped,
I,
and this is
little
some.
babies, because
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying yes because I even have photographs because I used to take pictures with them. And I have one photograph and I was surrounded with like 50 children, and they were, majority of them were little 4-year old, 5, 6-year olds.
And they reveal their stories to you.
Yes, they revealed their stories for me, and that's how I know I was born for this and I was equipped for this movement, this work that I do. Because I, even from before entering the homes, children and youths who, even adults who have encountered abuse and sexual molestation when they were children, I was always the first one that they revealed to. So they
Okay.
would open up to me. So I knew that I was born for this. I think they could just feel my heart and know that they could confide in me.
And
And what triggered me even more is one girl I had an experience with. I became very close to her, and she was a dwarf. And when I met her, she was about 16, and she would have had to leave the home by the time she's 18. And when I went into the homes, I told the children that once they needed to ever talk, I gave them my phone number and told them that they can have 24-hour access to me just so they can talk, because they wasn't getting any counseling. And in the middle of the night, I would say maybe about 1:30, I got a call from this young lady. She was a dwarf, as I told you, and she was about 16 going on 17, and she was in the home from she was 12. And she called me and she was crying and she said, Auntie, please help me. I need to go to the doctor. Please. My belly is hurting me. And I couldn't like go and try to help her at that time of the morning. But I went first thing as daylight. And if you know how the children's home run, you can't just go take a child out like that. That is why a lot of children get molested even in the homes by security guards sometimes and stuff like these. They will tell you. That's why some of them run away from the homes, because the homes is they're supposed to be protected, but some of them, not all, they also get abused in the home. So anyway, I worked it out that I was able to bring her to the doctor. And when the doctor examined her, the doctor said that her womb was so damaged. He knew naturally that she had been sexually abused for many years. And that moved something in me, because number one, she was a dwarf, so she had a disadvantage. And it started where she was raped by like her father, her uncles, and even men in the community. And she would tell me stories of how one of them, when they would come to rape her, they would tie her two hands and her two legs to the bed, and they would just take turns and rape her as a little girl.
And she did not report any of this.
No, because most children don't do that. Because her abuse started from she was about 5 up until she was about 12 when the homes took her. I'm not sure exactly how they found out about her situation at 12, but that's when they took her, because most children don't talk, especially little boys.
Wow.
And it was by as I said, I was born for this. I was equipped for this. So I would always be in situation and environments where even young men would reach out to me and say they want to talk to me, and for some reason they just knew that they could trust me. And that's when I found out that little boys got raped as well by men, because I spoke to a lot of teenage boys and young adult men who would tell you that they were raped by men. And this is when I knew that my work as a mental health advocate, this was my life.
So, tell me something now. Upon hearing all of these from these children and young adults, what steps, measures have been put in place to assist them or to even get the um, get
Well,
some justice?
well, what I did, sometimes justice is a little tricky, and I'll explain why after. However, as for helping them, I went and I registered a charity organization called Our Focus is Empowerment, and its main focus is on mental health and helping young people. And so I was on a mission through that my charity organization to get people on board to join forces with me, and some of which were psychiatrists and psychotherapists that I tried to get on board that offer their services, so to help these young people. However, that have been very hard for me because people don't help young charities so easily, even though my charity is 10 years old now. But people don't help you so easily because, most people have a trust issue. People are thinking that you want to scam them, and, so it's very hard. And I also needed the help as well to see grants and stuff more. So I had
But
put in so much work behind the scenes regarding my charity, but I needed help. I still do need help.
but
Yes.
in the terms of charity, though, I mean, emotionally, mentally, what is in place for these children?
The professionals,
So
professionals.
no doubt though, when hearing of these incidents, the law, you got the law involved.
Yes, the law could have been involved with some of them, because remember that these were children who were in the homes, which means that the law would have known about a lot of them, that they were being abused, why they even ended up in the homes in the first place. But sometimes the law didn't know of the magnitude of the degree of the abuse. For example, you will see children on the street and they're homeless, and then people say they need food and clothes, and people give them money. But a lot of the times, these young people don't tell them about the sexual part. They will tell you about the physical abuse and being neglected and stuff, but most of the times they don't talk about the sexual part, especially boys. So I tried my best, the best way I could, but some of the situations were extremely very sensitive, and I needed help, more help, support. Some of them I did report, but I wasn't able to do it with all, because the homes were very, you have to be very careful with the homes, especially when the children are a particular age, because some of them will tell you that they already know about what's going on with the kids. But when I talked to the kids, I realized that they were not getting counseling. They were only keeping them there in some of them and feeding them, but they weren't getting the help they needed mentally and emotionally to help with the abuse and traumas that they have gone through.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me though, what are some of the signs that are displayed by these boys and girls that have been sexually molested and physically
Okay,
abused?
so I'm sorry, finish your question.
Well, I just and the physical abuse. What are some just sexual molestation and physical abuse? What are some of the signs that they would have displayed after that?
Okay, well, some children, depending on what their personality was before, you will find that they become very withdrawn and quiet. Very quiet. If you're talking to them, they would hold their head down. Very limited eye contact. You have to force them to get eye contact. shoulders always shrugged to the ground, not upright and confident. Uh, Very quiet and withdrawn and secluded. And for some of them, it's the opposite. They're extremely angry and rageful. Some of them so angry to the point where they enjoy seeing violence. So if someone was being stabbed, they would smile, laugh about it. They like to see blood and pain and anger. They want if they're in a fight, they want to see blood because they have reached a place of almost psychosis or sociopath, especially boys, because they have had to keep this secret within themselves for so long, and it brings them to a place of sometimes psychosis and becoming a sociopath. So like the boys, you will find that some of them become criminals in the street and turn to violence and become murderers and rapists even themselves, some of them, but not all. Some of them will just become very withdrawn and very confident, very not confident, very low self-esteem, very shy, and no eye contact, that type of thing, just very quiet, very extremely quiet. It's either they're very quiet or they're very angry and rageful and that type of thing.
What you said to me now. Hmm.
Especially boys. For girls, uh, it can be so hard to know. For example, I know a little girl, and when she was 9 years old, her mother's boyfriend in the middle of the night, he would leave the mother's room and go to her room and rape her. And he started that from she was 9. And her mother didn't have a clue. And it was when she was 14 she revealed it to me, and I had to break it to the mother. So children do a very good job of hiding these things. And another surprising thing that I want the world to know, it's not just that you shouldn't easily trust your children around adults, but you should equally not trust your children around other children, because child on child abuse and sexual molestation is higher than even adult against children.
Wow, what you said to me right now, just keep blowing my mind. It just knocks the lid off
Yeah.
my mind right now.
So you know how Jamaican families have a tendency to send their children next door to the neighbor's house to hang out and play, and
Yes.
send their children to auntie's house and grandma. And then when they go to grandma, they go to the neighbor's house at grandma. And the neighbor have an uncle or a stepfather or a man that works in the yard or whatever, or children that they go to play with. Maybe the child can be 3, 4 years older than them or even the same age. So children are more cruel to children than even adults to children, and you should never trust your children amongst other children, because some children are very exposed and very naughty, and they will molest and sexually abuse your child.
You no, you're saying, boy. I mean, how we grew up as children. Thank God, I grew up in a community where none of those were really was around at that time. Well, in my path, let me not say overall, but it's hard though. I mean,
But I tell you what was
parents are
I can
accused
tell you
of
what
being
was
overprotective.
around. I'm gonna I want to tell you something that was around in your time, though, even though you might not have experienced that with children. Very old men who would molest children. So you would have a very old man of the family, and maybe grandma or mommy would send you to go take some food to this man because he seems so respectable in the community, and they would molest your child and send your child back, and you didn't have a clue, because the children wouldn't talk because they know that this is a very respectable person of the family. And because they're children, they're not aware that what's happening to them is bad. Because these men, these predators, have a very good way of manipulating your child to make them believe that they're doing something good and respectable to them, so they don't speak.
Wow.
And I
Okay.
see this a lot. When I talk from this place, I'm not talking because I see these things somewhere. I have full blown information and knowledge of these things. And this is why it reached a point where I wasn't only, because I started by only advocating for females, young women, but I ended up having to advocate for men because when I saw the level of male boys who were raped by adult men, I couldn't believe it. And that is why we have some of the issues that we have in our society, and our young men are so angry
Yeah,
because they don't talk.
yeah, it could explain why we have these rapists raping children as well. Maybe they're acting out things that happened to them while they were themselves youngsters.
Yes, and because they have no reach, as because they didn't get any help, they have now reached a stage of psychosis and have become sociopaths, some of them. And then because they drink the alcohol and smoke a lot of stuff too, it induces schizophrenic behavior. So it's like they become a different person, almost like they become monsters. Because of this thing that is inside of them festering for so long, because they did not have an outlet to talk about what they went through to get the help. And especially for boys, it's a shame issue. They don't want the public to know that they went through these things as boys.
Understand? So now with all of this though, I think we kind of hit on it briefly though. But what can we do to prevent these things from happening to our children now and in the
Raise
future?
awareness.
Repeat.
Raise awareness.
Yeah, awareness is one. Yes, but the culprits are still out there. They will continue to do it.
Yes. Okay, so the culprits out there, and you can approach. So you have to address the youths and enlighten them and raise awareness and empower them. And also, we have to help the adults as well who are going through these things. And I tell people all the time, you know how the government have this amnesty thing where they send people to your home and they take a record of how many people live in the house and who is
Yes,
working
yes.
and all of that. The government, if I was the government, I would send people like that to every home to question every family member, to ask them, how are you doing mentally, emotionally, and in a specific way, to find out about the well-being of the children and the adults as well. Because not because these adults are parents doesn't mean that they're okay. A lot of them were sexually and physically abused children who turned into adults that didn't get any help. And that is why you have adults who rape their own children.
Okay.
I know of a story about a woman that went to work one morning, and she had to turn back to go home quickly, and the father, which is her baby father, didn't know she was coming back home. And when she went in the house, her boyfriend's penis was in her baby's mouth, and this was a little baby that was like 1 year old, and it was his own child. So we have to get out there and run campaigns, which is what I do, but I don't get enough help, to get into every parish and every town to raise awareness, to talk to them about the signs, what they should look out for, and to also address, which I am address those who have gone through these things, don't want to talk about it, will not confess to you that they've gone through it, the ones who will not confess that they're perpetrators and they're rapists, but to help them in a way where they feel comfortable to come forth, to come forward and get the necessary help that they need. But it takes this takes real genuine love and care to do this, because people who have been molested and abused, they can sense when you truly have a heart to help them, so they won't open up to you just because you're saying, hey, we're doing this. It has to be done with a particular intention and a heart to help, a heart that truly wants to help to heal.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
where we start, as for starting, you start in your home, then you start in your community, then your town, and it trickles out. Everyone has to start where they're at. But we have to do it as a collective. So we have to join forces together, which is what I've been trying to get people to help me to do for years, to run a campaign, to go to every town and parish in Jamaica and as many communities as we can to help these people because I was just born for this. I was equipped for this.
No, the statistics that you're telling me, the percentage, you're actually saying to us right now that three-quarter of the population are suffering from some sexual molestation.
Yes, I would say so, and I would say
Actually,
like
heavy homes you're
at
talking
least
about.
correct, and I would say at least 70% is struggling from a mental health issue, even
But
if it
but
is
some
not.
folks, many folks will disagree with you on that statistic.
Which one of them?
98% of the population homes are, children are being abused sexually.
Uh, okay, and this is exactly why children are quiet and are abused. Let me tell you something. I just don't want to talk certain things, because some of the perpetrators are sitting in very high places. So I have to be very careful. Let me tell you, the people who share the statistics with you, some of them are the perpetrators. Okay? A lot of the children, the numbers are not going to come in. The government is not going to have the correct numbers because these youths are not opening up to them.
So
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 I'm not saying
what
that
so your
90% of the
your
population,
statistic
I'm not saying,
your
yes,
statistic number is different from those from the government.
it has to be because the people, when I go into the homes or in the streets, because I'm in the streets as well, when I go in the streets, the people who confess to me about what they have gone through, they don't confess to the government. The government don't know about them.
Okay, okay.
The same
But
way
this is
how
sad
when we
though.
never had, remember when we didn't have TikTok and Instagram and we would watch the 7 o'clock news? All the crimes that we see on the news, it wasn't even half of what was taking place. Now you're seeing what's really taking place because of Instagram and TikTok.
What you're
So they
saying though,
don't have the correct numbers.
we have a nation that strives on sexual molestation. That we
Yes,
have a
we have a
group of
rape culture.
people. We have a group of people that probably is only sex is on their minds, and they take this out on the youngsters. This is not good. What this don't paint a good
Yes,
picture of this of the society nor the world today.
exactly. Jamaica, listen, a lot of the things we don't want to admit, and that is why we don't fix the problem. Jamaica has a rape culture. Jamaica has a rape culture. Okay, this is the truth. That is why men can be driving in a car and see a teenage boy begging them money to buy food and put him in their car and take him and battery him. Jamaica has a rape culture. Where did it come from? That is what we need to find out.
I would I wouldn't call it a culture, man. Let's not call it a culture. I'd rather we say
Okay,
it's a disease or some
the,
sickness, some
the,
mental sickness. But it's not
the
none.
thing
It's
with
not a
culture,
culture.
okay, the thing with the word culture is that people associate the word culture with good things because that is how we were programmed. So we believe that once you think about culture, you think about only the good things in your
No,
society.
that
That's
is
not
not
it.
Jamaica's culture. We don't support that.
No, we don't
No,
support it, but
it's
that
not.
is what they have.
No. Okay.
Okay, well, we have a bad habit then of men raping. Men thrive on raping little boys and girls and helpless, and you
So
have to even you I know of children who were born paralyzed and they live in a wheelchair, and men take them out the wheelchair as a child and have sex with them and rape them,
my goodness.
and some of these children can't even talk properly.
Is there any solution in your mind, though? Apart from
Yes,
you're saying more awareness in the communities, the families and communities. What is there any solution differently from bringing awareness?
yes,
Yeah.
there are solutions, but it must start with awareness. We have to raise awareness every single day, every day, every single day.
You see
So
the
when you
trouble.
turn on your radio and you hear music every day on your radio, there should be some medium where every single day that is the focus. Because a
The
child is being raped and molested as we speak
the
right
trouble
now, every day.
the trouble that I'm having right now is that the statistics that you share, the awareness will be going to those that were committing these evil acts. So it is.
Yes,
So it
how
has to be more than just
yes,
awareness because these persons are aware that they're doing these acts,
correct.
and they are the same
Yes,
one
and then
we are going to bring awareness to. If we bring awareness to the children, you mentioned that they won't speak up. So what do we do?
we
We
have
need
to
to.
no, we're going to empower them and give them a safe space to speak up. We need to offer them safe spaces. So I understand that for the perpetrators, it's very hard to know what to do with them. We have to bring them to justice. But at least if we raise awareness, the numbers will go down. And the government have to put things in place. For example, when a man rape a baby and you let him do 3 years in prison, and then and a man that traffics cocaine or ganja, you give him 10 years. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yes. So before they let these people out of prison, they need to put them in psychiatric care when they go to prison for these things. Because how do you how do you lock up a rapist that rape a baby and you let him back out on the street and he did not go immediately into psychiatric care or go through psychiatric care while he was in prison? He's going to get worse or do this. He's going to do the same thing. So we have to bring them to justice, but while bringing them to justice, because some of them are so sick that even if you put them in an electric chair, all they're thinking about is who they can rape before they die.
Is there any form of method that can help these persons? Is there anything? Because if we lock up 90% of the male in our country, I mean, we'll have. I mean, we don't have space to lock them
No,
up anyway.
I'm not
So
saying
so how?
90% of I'm not saying 90% of the males in our country are rapists. No, that's not what I'm saying.
When you mention the
That's not
homes,
what I'm
when you
saying.
mention the homes, you mentioned the homes. You mentioned a
Oh, in
vast
the home.
majority.
Yes, in the
So
homes.
so
Yes, majority. Yes.
right. So you mentioned the majority of homes in our island, and
not,
I just relate that to both
not the
male and
majority.
female, but I
I'm
still
not going to
win.
say I'm not going to say the majority of the homes, but I'm going to say the majority of the children and the youths in the homes that I visited.
Okay, all right. So what can be done to help the perpetrators? Because we have to seek how to help them as well, because they are the ones that will need to stop this. They know who they are, and they need to stop.
They need psychiatric care. They need psychiatric care, and we can't, as a nation, we can't and shouldn't
How do we
depend
reach them?
solely on the government.
How do we reach them? How do we get the message to them?
We have
How
to
can we
we
convince
have
them?
we have to be very involved in the communities, and like what I want to do is run campaigns, but I need support to run these campaigns across the island and go in very active in communities and make ourselves accessible to them. And it's not any and anybody that can do this. You have to be a particular type of person for them to open up to you. Because if you realize, you will always have people that confess that I used to do cocaine, I used to smoke crack, I was abusive to my wife, but you have never seen a rapist come out and say I used to rape. That is the one thing they keep silent. So we have to use very strategic ways to create safe spaces as well, as funny as it may sound, but to create safe and trusted spaces for the perpetrators to get them help.
I need to get a lawyer or a police officer on the line as well. Say a person, a
Yes,
man that rapes um, 15 years ago and probably continue and want to realize that he needs help. Would he come and confess? Because he would be arrested and have to pay for the crimes that he committed many years ago. So maybe that's one of the things why they won't come out.
correct,
So
correct. But as you mentioned, they still need help
they definitely need
because
help.
oftentimes, a lot of times, the reason why they're like that is because they have gone through trauma themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have gone through
So
trauma themselves.
our nation needs healing, and which is why it is very important for people to join, to come together and strengthen and support advocates like me, because you can't depend solely on the government.
All right. So yeah, I know the government have some government institution like the Children's Advocate, other institutions that you know defend the rights of children. Have you been in touch with any of those?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I tried years ago. I tried to connect with them because I even have a relative that is a politician, and she played an important role at that time, and I tried to reach out to her. I'm not going to say who she is right now, and maybe I never will. But it's very hard for you to get their support. But I'm still, putting new strategies and ways these days to reach out to them. But I am not 100% passionate about reaching out to the government anymore. I'm trying to reach out the civilians,
Yeah,
people
but
like you,
you'd have to
not the government.
for them to help you. You'd have to try to work with them as well, because they have their own institution. They will never neglect their own institution to support another institution like that. Both organization has to
Are
come
you talking
together.
about the government?
Yes, have to come together and work. You have to work
Yes,
with them in a sense. That's what they would
yes,
rather.
yes. We have to come together and work with them, and especially the advocacy groups, because some of the things that I know about. Listen, I don't want to say some things on radio, but let me tell you, I'm
Uh,
telling you,
le-
some of the people who are supposed to help are some of the perpetrators as well. Not all, but some of them. So we have to, and that is why on social media, I would put out a video on social media and I would get hundreds and thousands of views. And the only topic for years that I ever speak on where I don't get much views, it's always about child molestation and sexual abuse. Because a lot of people are perpetrators, so you don't get a lot of support.
okay.
But we still have to try. And so I want the help from the government, yes, but they are not my main focus to get help from, not at all.
All right. So you mentioned you need help to go out in the different communities across Jamaica.
Yes, to run permanent
Campaigns.
campaigns,
Okay.
to go out in the streets and talk to them and make ourselves accessible to them and take their information, because some of them might not want to reveal right then and there what they're
Yes.
going through,
Yes.
but they want to know that they can contact me because they talk to me, they open up to me. I was born
Yes.
for this.
All right.
They know they can trust me, and
So
others like me as well. I'm not the only one.
so how could the public get in touch with you? And because you'd have to tell them exactly um how you're going to do this, the type of help you need from them. Yeah.
Yes, so they could contact me and we could set up meetings and we could, communicate and I can share with them my mission and the strategies I want to take and the help that I need, and we come together as a collective. And there are other advocacy groups out there as well that are willing to join forces with me, but we need a little financing. For example, if we're going to hire a bus to drive across the island or a particular parish, we need fuel, we need food, we need water, we need microphone, we need a stage, we need, little supports like that. We're not looking for monies to go in our pockets.
Oh, okay.
And then I have on board the professionals, the psychotherapists, the psychologists, the psychiatrists. I have them supporting me and on board with me to help these persons so they can know what's, where after talking to them, they can know what type of help they need. So once we go around and do these campaigns, we share information with them and we set up consultancy so they can come and talk with us and we can see where they're at and what type of help they need.
Okay, this is really sad. When I think deep on this, it's
Because
sad.
the truth is that these are some of them are not just children or young people, some of them are adults, grown adults. Like some of those men that you see in a bar every night, every single night you see him in a bar and he's maybe like 40 odd years old, no 50. He's one of them as well. And he's just going to come out now.
I mean,
So
those are
there
some
there are so many.
wild allegations there. Um, well, persons go to bar for different reasons. I don't know how. I mean, some of
No, no,
them,
I'm
some
not,
of them,
no,
some
I'm
of
not
them.
saying all of them. I'm
Yes,
letting you
yes,
know that there is that one man, not saying all of them. There is that one drunkard, what Jamaicans call drunkard,
yes,
that
yes.
you see staggering in the street every day. Alcohol is his life.
Uh huh.
He's one
Could
of
be,
them as well, but
could be,
nobody knew and he told nobody.
could be. And I've never gotten
No, not
counsel.
could be. I know this.
I've never gotten over it. So it lingers throughout his or her life.
Correct. So they
Yeah.
use substances to try to help them to cope because the way the chemicals are in their brains up until this point of not getting help for so many years, they can't live with themselves. It's like
So
something is exploding inside of them. So they have to drink or smoke or have sex or something to calm them down for that minute.
all right. So we're kind of running out of time now. So children that have been sexually molested, they can't function well in school. Moreover, in society.
Yes, it's very hard for them, and some of them turn out to be high functioning as well, meaning they can do all the things that they're supposed to do and do it well. Just like the adults, you call them high functioning. So you can see no signs at all because they do everything that is expected of them so well. But you have to be very intuitive and perceptive enough to pick up on the fact that something is actually wrong. It's
Okay.
like, yes, it's you have to, yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
they all need, both the victims and the abusers, they need safe spaces to get help
Yeah. One of the things
because
that comes to mind
they
though
may.
is that when these youngsters in their homes speak up against these things, share the information with you and others, they would be going back to the same home. What if they
That's
are
my
thinking?
point, and
So,
that's my point, and
so.
that's my point, and that is why one of my mission in this world, and I hope I accomplish this before I leave this earth, is to have what I call a transition home. So when they reach 18 and they leave the home, they can come to my transition home, and I can keep them there for at least 3 years until they're like 21, and help them to get skilled and help them to be able to function and take care of themselves in society so they don't have to go back to the homes and the communities that they came from.
I'm kind of aware that some of these homes though provide skill trainings. So by the time they reach
Maybe
18, I
they're
don't.
do- maybe maybe they're doing that now. Maybe some of them are doing better now, which would be good. I'm happy to hear that.
Okay. All right. So before you go though, is anything else you want to share with us before you go?
I want us to break the stigma that surrounds mental health. I want people to become more comfortable with opening up because I want you to know, whoever you are out there, whether you're a man or a woman, a girl or a boy, I want you to know that anything that you have ever gone through in your life, whether as a child, a teen, or an adult, you don't have to live with the shame. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Um, Reach out to someone that you believe you can trust and get the help that you need. You don't have to live with the shame, especially boys. You don't need to live with the shame because anything that happens to you can happen to anyone, and it have happened to a lot of other people, and you are not alone. And there is nothing to be ashamed of because when someone hurts you, that's not who you are. You can get help, you can get better. You might not be able to forget what happened to you, but you can heal and become whoever you want to become in the world and in this society. So you don't have to be ashamed. Don't keep it bottled up inside of you, no matter how old you are. Reach out to someone that you can trust and kill the shame. Get the necessary help that you so deserve.
Oh, the help. So what about message to the perpetrators though?
To the perpetrators, I want to say stop. Just stop right now. I know that some of you have been molested and abused and raped yourself, and nobody helped you, so you feel like you don't need to care about anyone because nobody care about you. I know that some of you are dealing with neglect from your parents. Your mother left you, your father left you, and you don't know what it feels like to feel the love of a mother or a father. I know that some of you were molested and physically abused by your own parents, and so you have become numb. I want to say stop hurting other children now and get the necessary help that you need. We want to help you. We don't want to kill you. We want to help you. But if you continue to not get help for yourself and hurt these children, then we're going to have to get rid of you. But I want you to get help because I understand that you yourself had gone through trauma. Come forward, come forth, find someone that you can trust to open up to in some way and get the necessary help. But stop. Alcohol is not going to help you. Smoking is not going to help you. Drugs is not going to help you to fix the problem. You can get better. Tell yourself that it's time now to get better because you don't want to be hurting children anymore. It's not fair. It's not fair to these children what you do to them. So stop right now, or else we're going to have to find very drastic ways to get rid of you.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for your time and for sharing with us this morning all those information that you have shared with us. Wow, it's kind
You're
of touching
welcome.
though. Um,
You're welcome. Thanks for having me as well. And thank you for, wanting to be a part of the movement to raise awareness.
how can the public get in touch with you? Please, one more time.
Okay, so they can WhatsApp my business number at 1-876-373-7644. They can follow me on TikTok at Victory Hosang one. That's BICTORYHOSANG number one. They can follow me on TikTok and send me a message there. And those are the two easiest ways to contact me at the moment. So again, the WhatsApp number is 1-876-373-7644.
Okay, and the invitation is going out to persons that are also being molested and persons. If you realize that you have a sickness, you want to stop molesting, and somehow it seems very difficult, I think they can reach out to you as well.
Yes, most definitely. Just text me a message. Don't call, but text me a message, and I'll definitely get it. And I want to say one more thing. For the fathers, I know of a lot of you out there that are raping your daughters and your sons. Stop it. Stop. Stop. I know that some of you are in very high places, but just stop. Stop.
Okay. I hope though that your voice, that stop, really can reach the center of their heart, their nerves, and allow them to think about it. As you mentioned, the voices need to be more. We need to raise these awareness. The voices of stop need to be more on a weekly
Yes.
basis, if not daily basis. It can't be just for 1 month or once per month.
No, no, there's no such thing as 1 month being Child's Month. Every month is Child's Month.
Okay.
Okay, every month has to be Child's Month.
All
It
right.
just it has to be. And in the meantime, because the perpetrators won't come forth so easy, we have to put majority of our focus in the meantime on the children
So
and raise
parents,
awareness and empower them and equip them and teach them to fight and teach them to say no. And once they get in touch with me, I share information with them how we can empower our children and make
all
them
right.
become bold and look out for the signs, because some of these men they have very unique ways of manipulating these children,
Okay.
especially when a child is very timid.
Yeah.
So we have to raise awareness and enlighten and empower these children. And if we can get them into learning martial arts and stuff like these things, it helps too. But once a person gets in touch with me, then I share in depth, what my strategies are and how I would like us to work together as a collective to
Okay.
wise up these youths. We don't just need to teach them about good touch and bad touch alone. We need to even teach them about the eye, because a man can look at a child a particular way and it's very sexual and it moves something in that child. But because he only uses the eye, he think he's not, it's okay. So we have to teach our children how to look out for these tricky little behaviors.
Hope to talk to you again soon.
No
And
problem.
keep up the work.
Thank you so much for having me. I thank you so much for having me. God
God
bless
God
you.
bless you too. All right.
Okay.